Welcome back to the channel, and I have something we're going to do just a little different today. One of the channels that I follow because of my son, I have a 15-year-old son and I've got boys in the house, and actually the 15-year-old and the 11-year-old love this channel. You may have heard of it. 2.5 million of you are subscribed to it. It's called Whistling Diesel. Now, if you've been watching that channel for any period of time, you know that he used to have a cameraman named Clayton, and Clayton all of a sudden disappeared from all his videos, and we were all left wondering what happened. We get a little glimpse of what happened, a video he released about 3 weeks ago, and as a successful contractor, I want to talk about it because I think there's some things that we as contractors screw up on. I made a lot of these same mistakes. So hopefully you can learn from some of this. But before we get into it, make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you like what we're doing and you have something to add to the conversation, please drop us a comment down below. If you know Whistling Diesel at all himself or Clayton, feel free to tag him. I mean, not that I'm doing this for views. I would never do anything for views. In fact, I'm turning off monetization on all of this stuff, which is a lie. I'm not even monetized, so I can't monetize, so it doesn't really matter. This thing could go to the moon, and I get nothing out of it.
Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today, as y'all can't tell by the title, I'm going to be telling y'all why I quit working for Whistling Diesel. I wasn't going to make one of these videos because I wanted to leave on good terms and everything. I thought we did, but apparently not. Main reason I quit was because I couldn't have a life of my own. He would text us like every night, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, say, oh, we're working tomorrow at this time, and you know, couldn't plan anything, and we never knew when we were getting off. Yeah, I made plans and had to cancel them all the time, so I was tired of that. So I told him I need more of a schedule. He said, oh no, pretty much you're on call all the time and it's no different, blah blah blah.
So what he's talking about is he couldn't ever get a set schedule for what he was going to do. They didn't know when they were going to shoot. That's, I think, one of the things we as young owners, and I had a problem with when I was starting out, is thinking that because these people work for us and we sign their check, that they are beholden to us, if for no better term, that we sign their check and they better just be grateful to have a job, and they need to be on call 24/7. Now, there are jobs where you do that, but I don't think that somebody that's in the video realm of things can ask that of his people. Hey, what do you have to say about that, Nick? You do video, so would you want to be on call 24/7?
Oh no.
Is that camera world stuff? I mean, maybe in some things. I'm thinking like Discovery Channel. Would you ever, even in something like the Discovery Channel, be on call 24/7?
No, it's gig based. So you sign up for gigs like, hey, we're doing this job from
Yeah.
this Wednesday to next Friday. Do you want to do it? Yes or no?
Yeah, so gig based. Nobody likes something where they're just on call 24/7 because they can't have a life. And that's one of the things Clayton is talking about, is that he could never schedule anything. And if you're like that and you think your people are on call all the time and that they should basically be at your beck and call, then you're going to have problems. People want to be able to have a life outside of work. It's not the only thing they do. They want to be able to date if they're single. You need to have a set schedule, or at least as close to one as you can get. In our company, we don't necessarily know what time we're going to get off, but everybody knows that they can start at 7 o'clock. And if we're going to change from that, then they have a pretty reasonable amount of notice. And they know that somewhere around 5 or 6 o'clock they'll get off. Not having a set schedule and not being able to communicate that to your people is going to cause a lot of problems in your business.
We were at the Cletus race, and after the race, everyone was out on the field, and Cletus was reading off the winners. I was like, oh, let me turn on the camera and everything and record this. And it's an iPhone, by the way. Those things are slower than crap, so I had to turn it on, get to the camera, and start recording. And that takes like 5-10 seconds to get going. By the time I get that thing recording, Cletus has already read off all the people that placed in the race, and he already passed Cody. And I was like, there's no point in even recording now. He's like, you ought to be fired. I would keep recording all the time to make sure I don't miss anything, but then he gets mad at us when we record too much because he doesn't want to go through all the footage. But then we get yelled at if we miss something. So which one do you want?
I feel like Nick really needs to be on this side of the camera. Being a camera guy, Nick, I'm sure, has missed some shots. We don't talk about that. We get the best we can. It is incredibly difficult to go through hours and hours of footage. Nick was just telling me that when I do my flying videos, please make sure I don't record 14 hours of flying and send it to him, because he doesn't want to go through all that. It becomes a lot of footage to go through on editing. And we're just a YouTube channel. We're not a big production. We're not Disney or somebody like that. So, but having clear cut goals, performance, these are the things we need to meet. And another thing is that if you want your team to succeed, making sure that they have the proper tools to succeed is going to be really important. Don't give them antiquated tools and expect them to act like they've got the best tools in the world. And make sure they're trained with those tools. I think maybe some of this is because they're shooting these on iPhones because it's simple and it's easy. The channel's exploded. Maybe it's time to get more serious about investing in the equipment and the people that have the skills to be able to do the kind of shooting you're looking for.
Talking with 316 speed, and Cody's like, yeah, we need to destroy the suspension on the General Lee. And I was like, you know what we should do? We should lift it up real high with a wheel loader or something and drop it down and see how many times you can do that without breaking. He looks at me, looks at 316 speed. He's like, sorry about that. He's just looking for attention. I was like, what the heck?
There's a couple things that I would take away from this on the human resource side of things. Number one, never discount what your team members are telling you. If they have an idea, don't belittle them for their idea. Take that. Even if you don't want to use the idea, take it, give them credit for it, because you never know when they're going to have a great idea, and keep it to themselves because you were belittled them for the last idea they had. So you can miss out on some really great ideas from your team members by doing stuff like this. And the other part is be really careful that you don't belittle your team members in front of other people to make yourself look more important. I don't know if that's what's going on, but as employers, we have to be really careful about how we maybe even correct some of the behaviors of our team members. We always want to make sure that we're doing that in private.
I was just joking around with everybody, telling jokes and everything, and everybody was laughing, and Cody got to me for that because it was a business meeting or something. I'm not going to change my personality just because there's people in the room or something. I don't know. I'm not fake.
It's hard for me to understand. He's talking about getting yelled at and I can see one of the things Clayton's talking about is it's hard to switch from one to the other. You never know when you're supposed to be serious and when you're supposed to be screwing around. If you've watched the channel at all, these are the same people that have wrench fights in a garage and bust up sheetrock. I mean, from the outside looking in, it looks like it's all fun and games and it's always a party, and that's part of the channel. Apparently there's some serious stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and we need to shut all that off and not tell any jokes or do anything ridiculous, which is hard to think of because the whole channel is kind of built around being ridiculous.
Every time we go on a trip, you're always asking when we're getting home. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, because I have things I need to get done and whatnot, and I kind of want to plan so I can get some stuff done. And then Jason's like, all you ever do is hang out with Claire and blah, 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 blah. I was like, what's it matter what I'm doing? When are we getting home?
Here we are talking about schedule again. You take somebody out on the road and then just tell them, I don't know when you're going to go home. We're going to go home when we're done. Nobody would like that. Nobody likes that. And if he does want to hang out with Claire, I assume Claire is a girlfriend. But if he wants to hang out, that's his business. There seems to be no boundaries between work and personal life. I'm thinking maybe part of that is because Clayton was hired because he was an associate or a friend or an acquaintance. And so there was a friendship there maybe before the channel took off, and maybe that's how we got there. We have friends that we hire and we have family members that we hire to work within our own company. Boundaries become really important. We need to make sure that those people are treated no better or no worse than anybody else that we hire. Usually when we start up a small business in contracting, I know that was typical of us when we started our fence company, is the first place we look for additional help is within our friend circle. Usually we've got somebody that's looking for a job and we're like, okay, well, you're hired. Making sure that they're treated exactly the same as everybody else is really important. Likewise, don't be easier on them and be like, oh, well, he showed up late or he missed a day. It's not that big a deal. If you wouldn't tolerate that from another team member, don't tolerate that from them either. So it's about being very consistent. Make sure you communicate with your people as well as possible. Say, we think this is going to be a 7-day shoot. Even if you don't know 100%, communicate as well as possible. Cody, You got to get your schedule stuff figured out. You got to let your people know when they're going to work and when they're not going to work.
To know when we are working at least a day ahead of time so I can plan stuff and quit canceling stuff all the time. The thing I had going on this morning I couldn't cancel. He said it's no different than being on call for a job. We work every day except Sunday unless I actually say we are not working tomorrow. Otherwise, tell me when you make plans.
I have to tell you when I have plans to do something else outside of work. And that's just unreasonable. That's bad. It's being on call every day except for Sunday, all day. Even having to answer texts and stuff at night. This is just not how businesses are run. Cody's got a good business. He's got great marketing. He's built an incredible channel, but it's time to get control of the human resource side of things.
So he texted me the next day and he said, so are you leaving to do YouTube or what? So then I told him I was going to work at Next Gen and haul trailers for Jared and whatnot for a few months. And he said, okay, good luck. And I said, thanks. He said, you were just getting good at camera work too, by the way. If you would have asked, I would have paid more.
That's a good one right there. You were just getting good at camera work too, by the way. If you would have asked, I'd have paid more. That's not good. If you want to keep good people, it's up to you as the leader to recognize their talent and pay them accordingly. One of the things that we in our company, SWI, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is not requiring people to come grovel to us for a pay raise. When we see the ability and that we see that they're offering more value, then we show them our appreciation with little certificates of appreciation called dollars. Usually the people that have to come to us and ask us for a raise are the ones that aren't worth it. If there was value in what he was doing, don't make him come to you and grovel to you for more money. Just show him the money. If he's worth it, show him the money. That's how you keep good people. You don't keep them by offering them more money once they've turned in their notice. That's not a great way to keep people. Most people will just go ahead and quit anyhow. They're kind of like a woman. Once a woman's decided something, there's no changing her mind. Once it's made up, you're done. If she decides she's leaving you, she's gone. The human resource side of this is pretty ugly.
He said, really? Because he gets entire videos done without me having to tell him one thing. I didn't do that because I'd either get yelled at for doing it wrong or getting yelled at because we weren't supposed to do that yet. So I just waited to be told what to do.
We're going to have an expert talk a little bit about some of this stuff. So, hey, this is Nick. Nick makes videos. What do you know about that? He makes some pretty dang good ones, too.
I used to, in my previous life, I would manage a team of editors and shooters, and they were all different personality types, but some of those guys were very sensitive to feedback. And if they did something that they weren't supposed to do, instead of just taking that to heart and saying, well, I'm not supposed to do that anymore, they would overreact and pull way back, and then they weren't willing to do anything, kind of like what Clayton is saying.
So what you're saying, if I'm hearing you right, you're saying like Clayton's like, you yelled at me once for taking too much footage, so I'll just take the bare minimum because I don't want to get yelled at.
And I will just wait to be told what to do, and I hated working with people like that.
It can hurt when some of your people, especially when you have a really small, intimate team, it can really hurt when people leave. But it's important to us to keep it professional. Had this stayed professional from the beginning, it wouldn't have got into this he said, he said. But on the flip side of that, all this is great for the brand. This is great for Cody's brand. This is great for Clayton's brand. It's not hurting them to tell this story because this is Clayton's top performing video. Top performing video by far. 400,000 views for drama. This is exactly why bad news sells. Take that as a lesson on the marketing side of things, but maybe not the human resource management side of things. Another thing to think about as you're a leader and you have some success is remember where you came from. Dave Ramsey said one of the things that money can do is it can not change who we are, but magnify it. So as you find success, make sure you share that with the team that got you there and make sure you keep in check who you really are.
On the 7th, he says, what's your address and social for a 1099? I was like, you idiot.
All right, so this is going to be really important moving up. What's your address and social for your 1099? And what 1099 means is that he is treating Clayton as a subcontractor. So this is like gig-based, kind of like what Nick was telling us. Most camera work is gig-based. So he's working per gig.
But it wasn't bad money. It was like $25 an hour. But you worked like maybe 20, 30 hours a week. So, and we got paid monthly, so it would only be like $2,500 a month.
He's talking about $25 an hour. And if you're making money by the hour, then that's not 1099. You really can't 1099 somebody, and we've talked about this on this channel before, but there's certain criteria you need to meet if you're going to 1099 somebody. And one of the things is if you dictate when they have to be there, and you basically dictate their entire schedule, and they only derive all of their income from one person, then chances are it's not legal to 1099 somebody. So there's a very high probability, I'm not going to say absolute probability, but there's a very high probability that this 1099 subcontract stuff that's going on here is probably running afoul of some labor laws. There's a lot of red flags here, and this would worry me if I'm Cody, that somebody's going to put all this together and figure out that Clayton was improperly 1099 when he should have been treated as an employee and had employment taxes withheld. Not to mention, with all the dangerous stuff you do, if Clayton gets hurt when he's out there working, you're risking your entire channel. All 2.5 million and all the money you're making and stuff like that, it's all at risk if somebody gets hurt and you're doing some seriously risky stuff. That's really hard for people to understand, is that that's not okay. Like I say, this happens all the time in construction too. So it's funny to see it here, but in construction we do the same type of stuff and think that we're getting away with something. And it's all in the effort to save money. That's the only reason. And in the end, it can cost us our business. It's just not worth it. Pay people right, pay them by the hour when they're hourly. Don't try and salary people that shouldn't be salaried, and don't try to subcontract people that are really your employees.
So yeah, that's my take on him. Money and fame changed the man, and I've talked to a ton of people, and it has for sure. Kind of sad, but he's not the same person at all. It's all an act, and he does not like his fans either. I don't know why.
My goal with this little itty bitty teeny tiny channel is that the same person you see on the camera is the same person that you're going to see in real life if you ever meet me. This is just who I am. Luckily, I've had several people say, that's exactly who you're getting. The nice thing about me is I'm going to say what I have to say, even if it irritates some people, because I don't want to put on a persona that is not who I truly am. And that's why we do things like go after ghost controls.
I don't know what this thing is, but it doesn't open gates because it's such a piece of crap. Maybe it'll clean it off.
Just who I am. When I don't like something, I'm going to say it. I think that Whistlin' Diesel has done a great job of marketing himself. I respect his channel. I respect what he does. There's a lot of people that don't, but I know what he's doing. This is a huge marketing tool for him, and he's made a great living out of doing this. The guy knows what he's doing, and he's found his market, and that's what we need to do as contractors. We need to know who we are, and we need to find the people that love what we do. But we need to be professional about the way we deal with things, and that's what this is about making us better contractors. And we can learn a lot from Cody, and the squabble between Cody and Clayton here. Tag the heck out of WhistlinDiesel and Clayton, and maybe, not that I'm not trying to do this for clout or anything. Yeah, I am. I want all the views I can get. Are you kidding yourself? This is my marketing channel. I'm not even going to be ashamed of it. I'll say it right now. I hope this goes viral. And until next time, you have a good dang day.